You're now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I don't understand why you're thinking of you had me at alone. I don't understand why you're thinking of you had me at alone. I don't understand why you're
tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next big thing, the latest up-and-coming sports journalist, your host, Nathan Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 5, season 18 of the podcast. And in this episode, Maryland football. I know it's been a couple weeks since we saw them in Music City Bowl. We're going to recap that. But before we get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. We're going to push back the MLB 2024 mock draft until further notice. The WNBA free agency period is approaching soon. Stay tuned in for that. I will be recording episodes 6 and 7 with the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders. Tomorrow we'll be recapping Maryland women's basketball as we took a tough loss to Michigan State, and then the men recaps as well. So stay tuned for that. And then at some point, probably Thursday, Friday, we'll be previewing the NFL playoffs. Each matchup, Baltimore and San Francisco have the first round byes, so we'll preview again from wild card, divisional round, conference, and then Super Bowl, and that'll be it for football. And then really for college basketball, we're just going to continue that, and then WNBA free agency will follow with that, and then the draft. We'll be around the corner for the WNBA, and MLB draft will be in July, but that's down the road. So let's just stick to currently. Let's rewind. So a couple of things have happened since the Music City Bowl recap. Talia Tagovailoa has entered the transfer portal. I think it's best, as you see. The title of this video, it's an epilogue. I think what Talia did during his tenure here at College Park, this is a new chapter. I wish him all the best. Most likely he's going to Miami to get a 6th year. In fairness, there was 1 year he didn't play enough. He missed some games due to injury. So I'm kind of curious to see how that'll work out. I'm not overly worried. I think the program will be in great hands. I really didn't like the narratives coming into this game. Well, what would this team look like without Talia? Most picked Auburn to beat us. But also, too, there's some guys that are coming back. Hypo Little II, he's coming back for his 5th year. Bo Birdie, and is declaring for the NFL draft. We've had a couple guys go to the Senior Bowl. So this program will be fine. It's in great hands. I'm just a little disappointed that it kind of came at this way a little bit. Again, I thought Talia was getting ready to go in the pros, but personally. He is just not ready. I think he needs another year. And then plus, I think, again, you can have another year under your belt to develop. So, again, I wish him all the best. And what he did here was spectacular. Yes, he had ups and downs. He definitely has flaws. But there's a reason why he's the all-time passer leader in the Big Ten. And I'm just proud of what he's accomplished, from really sitting behind, when he's at Alabama, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, and then coming in with Mike from then up here. Yeah. And then, he's responsible for what this culture has been. It's, changing the culture. And and that kind of transitions into Mike Locksley. I cannot speak on the greatness of what he's done for this program. Y'all have to remember something. When he came into this program, it was a mess. A lot of people forget. Matt Canada was the interim head coach in the aftermath of what happened with Jordan McNair's passing and DJ Durkin and hearing all the stuff regarding the culture and all those things like that. To rebuild this program the way Mike did, you have to give him his flowers. I was a little disappointed to kind of see, again, as you guys can follow me on Twitter, we kind of should move on from Mike. And it's kind of hard. It's easy to say that. And then it's hard to find guys that can rekindle that what they've done, because a lot of these guys are bought in. And again, I credit him in the success he has done for College Park, and I'm very proud of this team. So let's just get into the Music City Bowl recap. First of all, it's playing in Tennessee. This was kind of a somber moment because Frank Weincheck, former Maryland Terrapin, talked about in the preview, he had passed away. Due to a fall in his home. So again, praying for his family. Send my thoughts and prayers and condolences. And again, Tennessee Titans. He's had a great career, playing alongside the great Steve McNair, Eddie George, Kevin Dyson. He's going to be known for that pass to Kevin Dyson at the miracle win against the Buffalo Bills. So I kind of felt like this was a big win for him, in my opinion. Billy Edwards Jr. and Cam Edge were the starters. I wasn't concerned. I felt like once those guys stepped on the field, it was a new era. And Billy and Cam have shown Maryland fans what this team could look like next year, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, you've had 3 first quarter drives that ended in touchdowns, and both of them combined for 200 yards. I cannot speak on, and again, also too, in fairness, Auburn's defense, their secondary was very thin. They didn't have, their starting safety, I think, Jalais Simpson, and then their starting corners, Pritchard and DJ James. So, I mean, the first quarter, it showed. They had a kid by the name of, I think it's Keontae Scott, starting on the outside, and had a couple guys kind of playing out of position. And to allow, especially in the first quarter, 158 passing yards, that group had no continuity. Their chemistry looked off, and they looked, I'm keeping it real, they looked very, very immature in terms of not being on the same page. They struggled to make tackles, and there were several plays where we're beating them. I mean, going right past them. I mean, they're frequently beating. And yes, there was a couple of times we did a couple of interceptions. Terrence Love, for example, I think Champ Anthony, they were flat. There was potential. There was the one by Colton Hood, where it was in the second quarter. And then Auburn, I think next year their defense is going to be very questionable. I know there's going to be a couple guys that are going to be going in the NFL draft, but the depth behind their 4 starters that I think will be going into that will be NFL caliber corners, the depth that these guys are young and they need more experience, and they got to work on their craft. As the game progressed, I thought they got better. But also too, and that goes kind of back to Maryland. I felt like we were a little too overly aggressive at times, and then it kind of started to see old habits. Like there was that one part of the possession where, in the game where they didn't find ways to make stops. I felt as though the game should have been a little bit more than what the box score says. I don't think it should be 31-13. It should be more like maybe 41-10. And again, the young tight ends, they gave us a glimpse. Rico is ironically he's going to Auburn. He was supposed to be starting. Corey Dyches, he's going in obviously he's in the transfer portal, so we don't know where he's going. But that gave our young tight ends, Howard and Wade, both an opportunity to see what they look like going into next year. They both had a touchdown catch. I still think they're going to be really good. Preston Howard and Dylan Wade, they're going to be just fine. And I thought in all three phases of the football, we looked good. Especially Auburn scored that late touchdown in the second quarter. Had the second half punt return. There was 2 interceptions we got defensively. And again, I just think it just was a lot of – it's a strong way to finish the season. And again, I could see why most people picked Auburn to win. For me, early in the season, our defense was the reason we were successful. We had that 5-0 start. And they were at the top of the nation in takeaways. And then while they played well against Auburn, it definitely showed. Peyton Thorne, disappointed. This was one of my keys. He had experience. He struggled. 13 of 27. He had 84 yards. He had 1 touchdown and interception. Then they brought in the freshman, Hank Brown. He was 7 of 9 for 132 yards. So they turned the ball over. Excuse me. Well, they were very inconsistent with the ball. They had the Peyton Thorne interception. Then they had their second stringer was a Holden Grenier. He threw an interception. They had the fumble and the kick return and then the punt. Ball security. Ball security for the most part for Auburn was an issue. And I think that's and again, that was one of my keys to success in beating Auburn, was making them pay for turnovers. And Maryland, I think, just did that. But I will give the Tigers credit. Their defense didn't show up in the second half. The second half, again, they only allowed 7 points, and they made us work for every yard. But I'm not mad at that. But for me, I'm going to give credit where credit's given. It was a good game. We finished strong. I'll take that. And again, for Auburn, I think this is a learning opportunity. Like I said, everybody just had a bad day, and it happens. And I think some of that is what starts with Coach Freeze. I felt like they were already dealing with enough guys sitting out, guys going to the transfer portal. So, other than, oh my gosh, their star tight end, they really didn't have anybody else. Because if you looked, there were some tight ends that were a lot of wide receivers because they were stretched thin. And I can see once I looked back at once the game was over, I kind of said, well, let me see what they got in the recruiting class. And they got some 4s and some 5 stars. So, hey, Auburn might just me. Because they're coming out of high school. Respectfully, they've got 2 5-stars and 2 4-stars. So, just saying, Auburn could. Let's see how these guys look, and give about 2 years. I think Auburn might make a case to be a top team in the SEC. I know Anthony Handy and Colin P. and maybe Sean Spencer, shout those guys. I might disagree with that, but they definitely need some pass catching, and that's something that was definitely glaring in this game. But outside of that, they never gave themselves a chance. 4 turnovers in the second half, and again, I just not enough talent on that field, and you could see. I mean, by the first half, you could just see like, oh, okay, this is definitely a very one-sided game. If we had some quality pass catchers out there, I think this game might have been a little closer. But I'm proud of this team. Everybody put in the work. It's been well deserved to win 3 straight bowl games. To be honest, for me, these are small. This is what builds a great team, and it's whether you're winning 13 games, whether you're winning 9 games, whatever. Like, it's how it's winning on all 3 phases of the game of football, and making the right plays, execution, those different things like that. I was kind of concerned, especially what this team would look like, especially kind of crumbled towards the end, but we persevered, we picked ourselves up. And again, Coach Loxley had these boys to play, and I'm very, very proud. And when you look, the first 6 seasons of the Big Ten since as long as we've been here, we've all ended painfully in sub 500 records, and I really, really,
I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
So, hey, you got a great, strong rookie class coming in. You got the bright future, and everybody stepped up. So this bowl game gave everybody a taste what 2024 looks like, and I'm proud of these guys. So much needed, much win. I'm happy for them. But 3 straight bowl wins. He's undefeated too. It's 3-0. He was a margin of almost 66, 67 points. So shout out to Coach Loxley. And again, and just give Auburn again their respect. They got a good, like I said, strong recruiting class, and that's arguably the best they've had in quite some time. So, NC, hey, you might get a couple guys in the transfer portal. You're gonna have some new faces. It's going to be a lot better. I also forgot to point out their run game was very also disappointing. Their leading rusher, Jarquez Hunter, 44 yards on 13 carries. Their run game was just disappointing. But outside of that, need some more skilled players. I think Auburn definitely was undermanned and they underperformed. So, and hey, when you're working with second and third stringers, you can't take away that they went out there and they still played. So I'm going to give them that for that one for sure. But hey, congratulations to the University of Maryland. I love it. I'm happy. Jashawn Jones, I think for the most part, he's actually been here since when Jordan McNair, following his passing. This was his last game. I'm happy for him because he has seen a lot. I'm happy for him. He was our leading receiver, 43 catches, 40 yards, including that miraculous juggling catch. And I think that's a great way to go on top. The entire offensive line, that didn't hit me until I kind of looked. I was like, wow. DJ Glaze was the only one that came back and had a really good season, especially once Jalen and Spencer got drafted. And again, it's going to be most likely DJ will go into the draft. I expect him to be a second, third, fourth round pick. And Allen, Alou, and Josh Kettleberg, we got them out the transfer portal. So there's going to be a new offensive line next year. Defensively, we're going to lose some guys. Jaquan Shepard, Tahib Still declared for the draft, and Bo Brady. It's going to be interesting. And again, some of these guys have been here for quite some time. You know, Maryland has seen some corners get drafted. Dante Banks. I'm just going to say it. I still think the Baltimore Ravens should have drafted a corner in the first round, and I'm sticking with that. And Washington could have drafted Deontay Banks, but I still think Emmanuel Forbes was a safety pick. Just my opinion. Nick Cross, 2022 Colts, and Joaquin Bennett with 2023 fourth rounder. So, it's going to be interesting what this team is going to look like. And I love it. So, let's get into the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're already famous? You can and you will with Zagnif Apparel.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
You can and you will dress like you're already famous with a nice 15% off using my discount code you see on your screen, Big Nate, for 15% off your final purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Zagnif Apparel, you will dress like you're already famous. I promise you, you will. Please check it out. Great merchandise. Again, thank you, Zagnif Apparel, for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. And we're back. Let's get into one final thought. Oh, sorry about that.
Thoughts are running through my mind. Someone took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
Firstly, it's not duck season, It's not rabbit season. It's open season. Okay. First and foremost, shout out to Alex Loosemore. Shout out to Kate Iverson. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines for winning the national championship. My prediction was right. There was no way that they were going to let Georgia three-peat. They wanted Alabama or Michigan to win the national championship. Michigan deserved it, without a shadow of a doubt. However, I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble, but out of every team they've played so far this season, can we agree that the Maryland Terrapins were the only ones that really put up a fight? I might take some flack for that. But in all seriousness, congratulations to you guys. I'm happy for you. Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh, both are champions. And Jim Harbaugh will be staying at the university. No, he will be going into the NFL, most likely. Jim Harbaugh is going to coach the Washington Commanders.
Guaranteed.
I'm going to watch that. It wouldn't faze me, but I don't see him staying at Michigan. That's just my opinion. But one final thought is really just, I'm going to play a clip. That's how I'm going to end the episode. It just speaks to, this is the last 3 seasons, what this program has been. And as a Maryland fan, and again, I'm just proud of these guys. And for those others, last game, thank you for what you've done for the program. I wish you guys nothing but success. I think these guys are going to contribute to the NFL. Coach Locke, he's got these guys brought in from day one since he came in here. I thought it was going to be tough. I'm like, oh, he's not going to. He's probably going to be here like 3 or 4 years, and he'll be out. And just to see 3 bowl wins. So this is just a taste of what is to come. But we will be there soon to host the national championship.
Guaranteed.
But let me go ahead and play this clip. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Be tuned for future episodes. Thank you for tuning in this episode. You'll see episodes 6 and 7. Those will be recorded after I'm done with this one. Go Terps. Maryland, we are behind you. I'm out. Peace. Stay up. Go ahead and play this clip for y'all.
Real quick, man. First of all right, we got a bunch of seniors here, man, and I can't tell you how proud I am of the way these guys have led this program the last 4, 5, 6, for some of these guys like Jay Sean, 17 years. All right. With a tremendous job of leadership and showing us the standard in which it takes. All right. With that being said, we also turned the page to where our 24th season started today. All right, and we beat a really good SEC team pretty handily. Today shows you what preparation looks like and why we do what we do. Because our standard is, if it's a scoreboard and there's some refs that show up, we gonna show up. And we ain't no one-man show either. All right? It ain't no one-man show around here. It's been next man up from the time we got here. And that's what makes this game so special, man. The ultimate team sport. And the seniors that's standing behind me, these guys had every chance to not finish and play like the rest of college football does. But because they wanted to create value, not for themselves, but for our Maryland football program, they made the decision to finish. And that is a pillar in our program. And these guys exude what it means to be a Terp. And with that being said, man, let's sing that one last time. And let's sing this thing like we did. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and Maryland, we're all behind you. Raise high the black and gold. There's nothing that's so glorious.
We got to see more. We got to see more. Keep fighting, don't give in. Maryland, well away.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the next big thing, the next up-and-coming sports journalist, Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything you do.